Fatma Aliye Topuz, often known simply as Fatma Aliye or Fatma Aliye Hanım, was a Turkish novelist, columnist, essayist, women's rights activist and humanitarian. Although there was an earlier published novel by the Turkish female author Zafer Hanım in 1877, since that one remained her only novel. Fatma Aliye Hanım, with her 5 novels, is credited by literary circles as the first female novelist in Turkish literature and the Islamic world. Early life. Fatma Aliye was born in Istanbul on the 9th of October 1862. She was the second child of the leading Ottoman civil servant and renowned historian Ahmet Cevdet Pasha and his wife Adviye Rabia Hanım. She had 2 siblings, a brother Ali Cevdet and a sister Emine Semiye. Due to her father's position as wali to Egypt and later to Greece, she spent 3 years from 1866 to 1868 in Aleppo and 6 months in 1875 in Janina. In 1878, she stayed together with her family 9 months in Damascus, where her father was appointed. Fatma Aliye was educated informally at home, since, at the time, it was not common for girls to enroll in formal classes even though there was no legal restriction on female education. Due to her intellectual curiosity, she acquired a high level of proficiency in Arabic and French. In 1879, when she was 17 years old, her father arranged her marriage to Captain Major Mehmet Faik Bey, an aide-de-camp of Sultan Abdul Hamid II and a nephew of Gazi Osman Pasha, the hero of the Siege of Plevna. She gave birth to 4 daughters, Hatis, Aisha, Nimet and Zubid Ismet. Her husband was a person intellectually less endowed than her, and during the first years of the marriage, did not allow her to read novels in foreign languages. Writing career. She debuted in literature in 1889 with the translation of Georges Honnet's novel Volonté from French into Turkish under the title Merim with her husband's permission. 10 years after her marriage, the book was published under her pen name, Ber Hanım. Renowned writer Ahmet Mithat was so impressed by her that he declared her as his honorary daughter in the newspaper Turkmeni Hakikat. Fatma Aliye attracted also her father's attention so that he lectured her and exchanged ideas with her. After her first translation, she used the pen name Mutasimai Merim in her consecutive translations. In 1894, she co-authored the novel Halve Hakikat together with Ahmet Mithat Efendi. She wrote the passages for the heroine while the passages for the male character was penned by Ahmet Mithat. The work was signed with Berkaden v. Ahmet Mithat. Following this novel, the 2 authors exchanged long-time letters with each other, which were published later in the newspaper Turkmeni Hakikat. Fatma Aliye published her first novel Mahazarat in 1892 under her real name, in which she tried to disprove the belief that a woman cannot forget her first love. It was the first novel in the entire Ottoman Empire written by a woman. The book was reprinted in 1908. Her second novel, Oudi, published in 1899, depicts a female oud player whom Fatma Aliye met in Aleppo. In this novel, she tells, in a plain language, the life story of Badia, who made an unhappy marriage. Renowned novelist Risat Nuri Guntikan refers to Oudi as one of the most important works, which attracted his interest in literature. Her other novels are Rafarit, Enin and Lever I Hayat. She thematized in her works marriage, harmony between the spouses, love and affection, and the importance of curtailing contrary to arranged marriage. Further, she picked individualism out as a central theme by creating independent and self-reliant heroines, who work and earn money without the need of a man. In 1893, her prominence grew up after the publication of Ahmet Mithat's book Ber Muharrar Osmanian and Nesati, composed of Fatma Aliye's letters. In these letters, she expresses her never-ending enthusiasm to learn. Her essay Disvinaï Islam was translated into French under the title Les Femmes Musulmanes and also into Arabic language, and her novel Oudi into French. Her criticism of her, published in a French newspaper, about a book titled Women of East and West by Frenchman Émile Julliard attracted much attention in Paris. Also internationally acknowledged, her work was exhibited at the library of the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, USA, and was listed in the catalogue of the Women's Library at the fair. Despite her prominence until the Second Constitutional Era, she fell into oblivion with the time. In 1914, she published her book Ahmed Servdet Parsivi Zamani in order to defend her father against political attacks. In this work, she intended to present the political scene after the Second Constitutional Era. However, its controversy to the official historical thesis led to the book's exclusion from the literature. Women's rights activist. Beside her literary works, she wrote for 13 years between 1895 and 1908 columns in the magazine Han Imla Marsis Gazette about women's rights without giving up her conservative views. Her sister Emine Semiye Aliye, one of the first Turkish feminists, was also among the intellectual women as editorial staff of the twice-a-week issued magazine. In her 1896 published book Disvinaï Islam, Fatma Aliye explained the situation of Muslim women to the Western world. As written in her magazine columns, she defended in this book the conservative traditions contrary to the modern characters she created in her novels. Humanitarian. Fatma Aliye was also engaged in charity. After the Greco-Turkish War, she founded in 1897 a charitable organization, Disvinaï Osmaniye İmdat Emniyeti, to support families of soldiers. It was one of the first women's organizations in the country. For her humanitarian efforts, she was awarded the Order of Charity by Sultan Abdul Hamid II in 1899. Fatma Aliye became also the first female member of the Osmanli Hilal Ayamas Emniyeti. Furthermore, she worked for the Müdafaa-i Milliye Osmanli Kadınlar Hayti, founded after the Italo-Turkish War and Balkan Wars in the 1910s. Last years, her youngest daughter Zubeyde İsmet converted in 1926 to Christianity, left Turkey to become a Roman Catholic nun. Fatma Aliye traveled in the 1920s several times to France in search of her daughter and also for her own health reasons. In 1928, she lost her husband. Fatma Aliye adopted the family name Topuz after the introduction of the surname law in Turkey, which was enacted on the 21st of June 1934. Having lived her last years in poor health and financial distress, she died on the 13th of July 1936 in Istanbul. She was laid to rest at the Feriköy Cemetery. Recognition and controversy. Although Zafer Hanım wrote her novel Aşk-ı Vatan in 1877, years before Fatma Aliye Hanım, she is not credited as the first Turkish female writer due to her only one work published. Fatma Aliye's portrait is depicted on the reverse of the 50 Turkish lira banknote issued in 2009. However, the Turkish Central Bank's decision to choose her to appear as the first woman ever so honored and as the first female Turkish writer created controversy among Turkish people of letters and historians. The critics argued that female writers like Halide Edipadavar or Fanon of the Republican era are more appropriate to adorn a banknote with Ataturk's portrait on the obverse than is Fatma Aliye, who developed her ideas of women's rights in the context of Sharia and who opposed Ataturk's reforms. Notable works: novels Mahazaret, Hail ve Hakikat, Rafat, Udi, Enin, Laveri Hayat. Translation Merim from French, Georges Honnet's novel Volonté. Essays Namdar Anais en Islamiyen. Osmanlı Kadın, Kariyelik Kokslilik Moda. With Mahmoudi Sad, Tada Zevkat, Nizvanai Islam French translation Les Femmes Musulmans. Terrasimeyavul I Felicif Sizgi Kitabevi, Konya. Reprint. 153 pages ISBN 975886784-9. Tedkik Hi ECSAM. Ahmed Sevdet Parsivi Zamani. Kosovo Zaferi, Ankara Hezameti, Tari Osmanian Berdevrai Muhammasi. Bibliography. Ahmed Midhat. Fatma Aliye Hanım Yafadber Muharrar Osmanian Nesati, translated from Ottoman Turkish by Bedir Ermat. Reprint Selyenstlik, Istanbul, 96 p. ISBN 975-570-0099. Barbara Siglu, Fatma Karabike. Fatma Aliye, Far Country, first female writer of the Muslim world. Timiz Publishing, a novel based upon her life story. Kakia, Serpil, a biographical dictionary of women's movements and feminisms, Central Eastern and Southeastern Europe, 19th and 20th centuries. Aliye, Fatma, pp. 21-24. Central European University Press, edited by Francisca de Haan, Krasimira Daskolova and Anna Loutfi. 678 p. ISBN 963-7326-39-1, ISBN 9789637326394. Frierson, Elizabeth B. Late Ottoman Society, The Intellectual Legacy, Women in Late Ottoman Intellectual History, pp. 135-161, Routledge, edited by Elizabeth Osdolger. 348 p. ISBN 0415-341647, ISBN 978-0415-341646. Ment Altari, Ranavan ed. Fatma Ali, Mahmoudi Sad, Ta'adad Zevkatzil. Continuation of the debate on polygamy, a modern Turkish version, transcription and facsimile. With an introduction by Rana V. Ment Altari. 177 p. Berlin.